Namaste. Welcome to Vishwa Yoga. My name is Vishwa. In this video, I will talk about masters of yoga in recent times and about their main student who became the leaders, movers and shakers, the torchbearers and the catalyst of what you see in yoga around the world today. Just before the beginning of the 20th century, it was Swami Vivekananda who first and formally introduced Vedanta and yoga to the West through his famous speech in Chicago in 1893. He broke the conditioning within the monks community who earlier avoided traveling outside of India. After that, Paramhans Yogananda came to the United States and introduced Kriya Yoga in 1920s. Millions got inspired and benefited from his teaching. You might be knowing his famous book, The Autobiography of a Yogi, which is still popular and read by millions of people. But in the middle of 20th century, the credit for all the popularity of yoga goes to two great masters and their students who revolutionized the yoga world the very same way how we credit Bill Gates and Steve Jobs for the modern computing in the world today. So the first great master was Swami Shivananda. He founded the Divine Life Society in 1936 and wrote over 200 books. He was originally born in a Shaiva family. In the beginning, he studied medicine and worked as a physician for some time, but later he got initiated as a monk and became a proponent of Vedanta in the lineage of Adi Shankara. He had many great disciples who created many centers and schools around the world. I will name a few who promoted the yoga tradition worldwide, such as Swami Satyananda Saraswati, founder of Bihar School of Yoga, Swami Sachidanand, founder of Integral Yoga, and Swami Vishnudevananda, founder of Shivananda Yoga. In each of these schools, they taught Hatha Yoga besides other forms of yoga. Thus, in his lineage, many forms of yoga evolved, and he encouraged both Vedic and Tantric teachings wherever it was appropriate, as he believed in the process of synthesis. For example, Swami Satyananda Saraswati was also assigned a task from his master to work on Tantra. So his work and practices included Tantric yoga practices as well. Today, Bihar School of Yoga books are used as a textbook or reference guide for many yoga teachers worldwide. My first introduction to Hatha Yoga was through one of his books in my teenage, and later got introduced to different teachers under this lineage. The Bihar School of Yoga has produced the highest number of yoga teachers in India. The other two schools I mentioned are widely known in the West, as their centers are located in North America and other countries. The second great master was Krsnacharya, who is known as the father of modern yoga. He was born in a Vaishnava family and was a householder and master of all Vedic darshana. He spent over 7.5 years in the Himalayas and studied yoga with Himalayan master Ram Mohan Brahmachari, whose lineage also connects back to Adi Shankara. After finishing his studies in Himalayas, he came to Varanasi and studied yoga therapy. Later, he started to teach yoga at the Mysore Palace around 1926, and then he opened a yoga school in 1933. He is said to be the founder of Vinyasa style of Hatha Yoga. in which you seamlessly flow from one posture to another. Some people say that he was influenced by gymnasts as he incorporated or borrowed some of those techniques into yoga practice, especially for students in the age group of teens to young adults. Today, his yoga therapy model is known as Vini Yoga. He also mentored many great students who became famous teachers and later revolutionized yoga worldwide. To name a few, such as Indra Devi, popularized Hatha yoga among Americans in Hollywood. Next was T. Pattabhi Jois, is well known for his Ashtanga Vinyasa yoga, in which he used predefined sequences for different levels. This series-based practice became popular in the West. Then Krsnacharya's brother-in-law, B.K.S. Iyengar, brought Iyengar yoga based on alignment, plus restorative yoga for healing and recovery. Iyengar used a variety of props for helping and healing himself first. Then it became evolution and hope for any age person who wants to start a yoga practice. The next one is Krsnacharya's son, T.K.V. Desikchar, continued with his father's yoga therapy known as Vini Yoga. Last but not least, I would like to mention about Mohan family. A.G. Mohan and his wife Indra Mohan both have directly studied under Krsnacharya, and they continue to teach till today. Their yoga school is called Swastha Yoga. Thus, as you can see, each of them left an imprint in the history of modern yoga by giving one or more style or brand names to Hatha yoga. Today, you can be able to Google their celebrity students as famous teachers on the web. I would like to mention here that Krsnacharya was a hardcore Vaishnava. Thus, in his teaching of yoga practice, there is a silent feature of bhakti element embedded within. He visualized Lord Vishnu in each posture and encouraged Vedic teachings over Tantric practices. Though many yoga practitioners today hardly go beyond asana practice, and these modern teachers may take his name for connecting the lineage or for the authenticity of their teachings, but if you will look closely, many things have changed from his original teaching. In the last 30 years, as yoga's popularity grew up, it gradually became a business model and exploded into multi-billion-dollar industry, which is now close to 50 billion globally today. As you guess, the number or quantity of teachers has exponentially grew up, but the quality of teachers has gone down. But the good part is more and more people are now introduced to yoga, and yoga is familiar worldwide. And the credit goes to these two masters, the legend in the modern history of yoga, whose students made yoga popular as we know it around the world today. Statistically, the influence of Krsnacharya tradition and his student is much more visible in the West. Also, I must say that many other great masters and teachers contributed to the growth of yoga tradition. It's impossible to list everybody's name in this short video. Some of these masters belong to other living traditions. You may wonder what I mean by living tradition. So living tradition means when a tradition starts from the founding master or teacher, has continued for multiple generations, some say at least 7, then it is called a living tradition. Also, some masters like to come to the masses by teaching yogic practices in different packages for their own branding, and some you have to find them or they may show up when you are in need and are ready for them. As it may sound weird, but that's the best way I can put it based on my own experience. As you may have heard a line, when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. My first introduction to yoga was through the books of Swami Vivekananda, and afterwards I had the privilege to learn from these two main lineages plus various teachers from diverse traditions with their unique approaches. To some teachers I went because of their name, to some I got pulled towards them with a deep desire to know and learn more, and some showed up when I was in desperate need. My deepest gratitude to each of them, though on this journey, based on my taste and inclination, I chose and adopted that made sense and helped me in my growth through study, practice, and personal experience. And the same I feel comfortable sharing with my students. So these were the movers and shakers of modern day yoga or Hatha yoga. If you are into yoga, you probably already know about these masters. Once again, my deepest gratitude to these masters for passing down this knowledge. And I believe that the best way to show the gratitude is to serve them by passing it on. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this information was useful for you. If you have any question or comments, feel free to drop in here. Namaste. Thank you so much for listening. If you like the information, please subscribe, like, and share so that everyone else can also enjoy this.